Today we're going to cover 3 T's, our growing team. We're going to talk about taxes, which of course are on everyone's minds right now, and Trump/tariffs. So let's get right into it. So like I said, our team at Hartford Retirement Planners is growing. So joining me is Jessica Mills, our new marketing coordinator, and Lauren Johnson, our new client service associate. Now, some of you may know Lauren, or she might be a familiar face from the past, because Lauren was actually an intern a little over a year ago and graduated from...
I went to Towson.
Yes.
Yep. I studied finance. And, of course, I had my internship here at Hartford Retirement Planners.
Right. And then our need has grown since then, so we didn't have capacity needs, but then we did, and we kept in touch.
That's right.
So after school, you went...
After our internship, I went to Morgan Stanley in Baltimore, so I was there for about a year.
And what... Morgan Stanley can be a lot of things, so what... were you client-facing? Were you institutional? What role did you have there?
So my role, I handled institutional trading operations.
Right.
So it was a little bit more analytical, where you're not really working with people face-to-face.
Right.
Yeah.
So then when we called Lauren first, we were like, look, we're looking for client service associate. You'd be perfect for the role. Would you be interested in joining? What was something that kind of helped you make that decision to come back and kind of have a little bit of a different role than what you had at Morgan Stanley?
I loved Morgan Stanley, but that was one thing that I truly did miss, was having that connection with people. Because
Right.
here at Hartford, you guys have so many clients where are like friends and family.
Yes. We
where-
had a couple that came last week, and I gave them 2 lemons off the lemon tree.
That's right.
So a little bit different. I'm sure Morgan Stanley doesn't have too many lemon trees in their offices.
Not any.
No. Yeah. So it was the client interaction and helping real people. That was what
Right.
was of interest to you. Yeah.
Opposed to corporations, so
That's awesome.
yeah.
And Jess, where did you graduate from school?
Stevenson University.
Stevenson. What's the mascot at Stevenson?
Mustangs.
The Mustangs. All right. My old high school was Mustangs. So, but you, so in a different capacity, doing the marketing. So you're going to be behind the camera usually, not in front of it like today.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about where you were before coming to Hartford Retirement Planners.
Sure. So even like backing up a little bit, this was nothing I ever imagined. I wanted to go into nursing, into healthcare.
Right.
And I was like, maybe not the move for me.
Yes.
So made the switch into marketing, a more creative study path. And then after graduation, ended up taking up a role with the state.
Yep.
And switching to an agency, which is all hustle and bustle, and kind of wanted to focus more locally and with the small business. So found the perfect match here.
So what do you think is going to be different? Because when you were at the old organization, you had a lot of different companies that you were juggling relationships with.
Yep.
Here, it's just Hartford Retirement Planners. What do you think or see would be different just focusing on one company in the marketing rather than maybe half a dozen or so?
I think I can just focus a lot of time and energy into it and have a little bit more creative ideas that can go into it. And obviously we have that direct relationship from day to day, so a lot more input from the team for sure.
Yeah. Excellent. So please reach out and say hi, or at least you'll have some familiar voices and maybe faces if you come from a meeting in person. But we wanted to introduce Jess and Lauren, so thank you for stopping by and giving us a little bit of the background.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, shifting gears slightly to a very exciting topic, and that is taxes. So taxes are top of mind this time of year, and if you're a client of Hartford Retirement Planners, here's what you can expect. I'm sure if you don't already have them all, you're waiting for your tax forms. So by the time you watch this video, there will be the final, I shouldn't say final, there will be a major push where almost everybody should have the tax forms in their mailbox. If you're a client of ours and you're not sure if you got everything that you need for taxes, please, please, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to double check everything that you've gotten and make sure it's everything that you need as you do your taxes or you go to your tax preparer or accountant. There will be a few folks who it might be another couple weeks before the tax forms are done, but don't shoot the messenger. So Hartford Retirement Planners and LPL, we LPL mainly assembles tax data from the investment companies. So LPL is waiting for everybody to give the final reporting before they can assemble the tax forms and then send them to you. So we have no control over how quickly the investment companies. I've heard some dates floated around over the years from clients that there's deadlines. The deadline isn't until March for your 1099 for non-retirement accounts. 1099Rs, so any retirement account distributions or anything related to retirement accounts, that as a deadline of the end of January. So anybody that took distributions from IRAs should have their 1099R. Again, if you're not sure if you got it or you're not sure if what you have is correct, double check it with us. There will be a few that will maybe be a couple weeks later. But again, if you're not sure if you're one of those folks, you reach out to us. So there's a constant theme here. Just reach out to us so we can explain it and help you understand what you have, what you need, or what we're waiting on. For all of our Maryland residents, so we serve people all over the country, right? Not just Maryland, but we can work in many, many different states, if not all of them. But Maryland specific, so we're headquartered in Maryland. We have a lot of Maryland clients. I'm going to touch on some proposals that are being floated around in Annapolis right now. High income earners as defined by earning over $500,000 a year. As proposed, the tax increase will increase the state income tax from 5.5% up to 6.25%. If you're one of the fortunate few that earns over $1 million a year, it'll be an even higher state income tax rate up to 6.5%. I'm going to rapid fire a couple of other ones because, again, this isn't set in stone, so don't get too concerned with it until it actually we know what we're dealing with when it comes to tax changes. Maryland casinos, the tax rate will go from 20% up to 25%, again, as proposed. Sports betting, 15% is the current tax. That will go up to 30%. Cannabis, 9% tax rate now. That'll go up to 15% as it's proposed. There are some cuts. Folks that are in the, as defined by Maryland standards, low and medium income earners might see a slight tax decrease to the tune of maybe a couple $100 as I've seen it. That would be a good thing. Corporate state tax reduction. The top state corporate tax rate as proposed will drop from 8.25% down to 7.99%. This is one to keep on the radar. Capital gains tax. So federal has their own 0, 15, 20%, or even more if you're in higher income, because there's a couple other taxes they've added on over the years. But Maryland now is proposing a capital gains tax of 1%. Anybody that has a non-retirement account in the state of Maryland is going to want to pay attention to that one. And there's a couple others, but I'll end with one that I kind of stuck out on the page to me, and that is a 75-cent. So 75 cents tax on food delivery services. So your Uber Eats, your DoorDashes. There's going to be one more line item on that. If this goes through, 75 cents. Not many states do that. Maryland, I think, would be the highest that would impose a fee on delivery for food. A quarter or 50 cents is the highest I saw in the article that I was reading when I was going through some of this. So kind of interesting, but keep an eye out on that. We certainly are. And if there's anything that we need to incorporate in our planning, we will be sure to communicate with that with our clients. On to the third and very controversial T, and that is Trump/tariffs. We've been talking a lot about that with clients lately. I'm going to give you my disclaimer. I am not political. I am not qualified to talk about the benefits or detractors of whatever's going on in the political. My job as a financial advisor is to try to take what's going on and apply that to the individual couple sitting across the table from me that either wants to stay retired comfortably or is planning for their comfortable retirement. We'll talk about tariffs first. That a couple weeks ago, as I filmed this, was very, very much in the headlines of all the news, and there was a lot of conversations around it. Tariffs for Mexico, Canada, and China. Well, with Mexico and Canada, as we filmed this, what we learned was it was a very scary headline, but the reality of it was the tariffs were really a threat at the end of it to try to get something that the president wanted politically. So it was a little bit of a head fake in terms of scaring the market, because the fear of tariffs is that it's going to be inflationary, and we're already dealing with the inflation from 22 and 23. So the reality of it was, at least this go round, that the tariffs were not going to be slapped on everybody, that it was some type of negotiation tool. Now, whether that's a good negotiation tool or not, that's not information that I'm qualified to give. I'm just stating the facts. So there will be concerns. And I think what we've learned over the last few weeks, and maybe even going back to the first term of his presidency, there might be some headlines that come out, but at the end of the day, we're not investing in a presidency. We're not investing in a lot of other things that can confuse the fact. We are investing in large publicly traded companies, at least for the stock portion of our portfolios. So our mandate is to make sure that Home Depot keeps selling lumber, people keep buying iPhones, logging onto Facebook, banking at JP Morgan, Bank of America, whatever. As long as those companies continue to prosper and grow and increase innovation and efficiency, long-term investors have been rewarded. So when it comes to the political debates, let's leave that in the comment section of Facebook. When it comes to planning for your long-term financial goals, it is not as big of a hurdle as the news and media would make it seem. The last thing I'll mention about the current state of politics, tariffs, Trump, whatever, the market has shown a resiliency that whether you agree with the policies or you strongly disagree with the policies, there really isn't much of a middle anymore. The economy and the market has been resilient over the last 150 plus years. And there will be many future presidencies that hopefully everybody watching this video will be able to see. And there will be different concerns, there will be different talking points, but at the end of the day, we're not investing in the Oval Office. We're investing in large, successful, publicly traded companies. I think most watching this would agree that Warren Buffett is one of the most prolific investors in the world, or maybe the history of humanity. And I just have to believe that he is not making politically emotion-based decisions with his stock portfolio. And we don't have to recreate the wheel here. If Warren Buffett, it works for him and his $100 billion, I think it'll work for the clients and the folks that we serve here at Hartford Retirement Planners. So let's try to zoom out and look at things holistically and from a longer term point of view, and not the minute-by-minute media, Fox News, MSNBC, or wherever we're getting our media these days. They have to come up with something to talk about every day. It doesn't have to mean that we need to do anything different with your portfolios as a result of that. So I just want to inject a little bit of common sense and a little bit of longer-term strategy in a world that really seems to getting shorter and shorter attention spans. But if you have any questions on what's going on in the White House as it pertains to your portfolio, or taxes, or anything else that we didn't cover in today's video, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to answer any questions that you have to the best of our ability. And as always, thank you for watching.